Good morning. So, where are you at this morning?
Good morning. I'm in Chicago, Illinois,
Very cool Central Time.
where it's cold and full of snow.
Oh my gosh, no. Well, I'm down here in Atlanta in the ATL, and it's a bit cold for us too at this time of the year. We're not
Okay.
really used to this.
Oh man, I would definitely prefer you guys' weather.
We pay for it in like July and August, that's for sure. We
Oh
get
yeah,
up.
yeah. The heat.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. But I've been here for so many years now, and the heat just really kind of becomes part of you. And when you got these cold snaps here, it's like, wow, I forgot what that was like.
It's like the best weather to live in, though.
Yeah, I'll take it over. I grew up in Cleveland, Ohio. So I'll take this weather over that any day. I don't miss that cold and snow trying to get
Exactly.
around.
Exactly.
And it's so tough to get around, just to drive. And I forgot all about brushing off the cars and all that.
Yeah, we just had 14 inches of snow. So
Oh,
you can imagine how people were stuck all over the streets and couldn't get out their parks, and it was just a mess. So that's when it's snow like that, you literally have to leave out at least an hour and a half early before you're going anywhere to
yeah,
make.
that's true.
Yeah, so it was a mess.
Wow, Chicago is great. So have you been there your whole life? Did you
Born
grow
and
up there?
raised. Yep, born and raised.
Yeah, what a great town though, and great for the arts, and you're part of that.
Yeah, 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 yeah. And it's coming up even more now. Like you have more. I think because of the tax break that the mayor has given the city. You have more people that's coming here filming. You have more shows that's touring here. You have more people that's being bold enough to put up stage plays. Not all of them are good, but they're putting them up.
We won't name names here.
Yeah, but I mean it's although they're putting them up. I was talking to someone yesterday at an event with one of the biggest radio stations, Power 92, and I was telling them I think it's important for people to do the research and the study on how to put up, decent productions because it's a sabotage to the industry. When you have people that may have been a first time playgoer and they're great at getting people out, they know exactly how to talk and how to communicate, and then they get thousands of people out and people are disappointed. So now they judge all shows based off that one bad one. So it's a sabotage to the community as well.
Yeah, you want to make sure they're all good and people will go to pay. And it's
Exactly.
tough in post-COVID times for people to get out and say, hey, look, this has got to be worth my while.
Yeah, yeah, it does. So that's the battle right now. That's the battle. But I mean,
Yeah. So the your new play, 1800s versus 2020. What is the origin of that play?
so I originally was working on a series called the What If series, and I'm making it a series full of short films. So the one question that I asked, one of the one what ifs was, what if the slaves from the 1800s were to come here today to 2020 and see how we're living? Or what if the people from 2020 was to go to the 1800s to see how they had to live? And it's such a it's a real it's a subject that I think a lot of people, like, they pretty much scared of that. Like that question scared a lot of people. Reason is because they understand the disappointment, and it made them have to think about what it is that our ancestors actually went through. And I think with people talking about the racism and stuff going on today and using it as an excuse, to not be as great selves, it's like, no, 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 no. Before you do that, let's take a look in the mirror. First of all, it was Black people that started slavery. Then two, that's also take a look at back then how our ancestors fought to have education. They fought to be able to vote. But if you look at people today, all they're doing is pointing a finger and using an excuse. So I think we
Yeah.
need to wake up and look in that mirror. Let's look there first before we look on the outside of everything else, and let's have a real conversation with self, and a real conversation that's going to help and inspire our youth. Because how many families really are being families now? When the last time you sat down at the dinner table and ate with your family?
Yeah.
Like, when is the last time a child picked up a book over a phone? It doesn't happen. So it's just so many different subject matters that need to be approached. But I approached it in realness and in truth. And I also gave a conclusion that will help people start to think different.
Yeah, that's good. It's an educational experience as well, saying, hey, I'm holding this mirror up to society and like, wow, it gets you to really thinking like, certainly things have changed. I mean, technology is a
Yes,
huge change, but like so many things haven't. I mean, look at the police involvement and the court cases that have been going on. What happened here in Southern Georgia? Oh my God. I mean, it's like this is 2022.
yeah,
It's amazing how so many things haven't changed. We're seeing it more in a high-tech environment.
and that's the other big piece to it. There's a lot of things that have changed, but yet there's a lot of things that have not changed. And the things that have not changed, it still exists. It just looks different. Such as slavery. Well, for one, slavery is still present, but now it went from physical to mental.
Yeah.
Like, people are mentally enslaved.
Mhm.
Then you have slavery now that also went from a race and a culture that's not the focus anymore. Now the focus is gender and age, because you have these human traffickers that's taking these women and these children, that's slaving them, making sex slaves and everything else, but no one is talking about it.
Isn't it amazing? It's like right in front of our own very eyes. And I think here, being here in the Atlanta area, I know this trafficking is really big because we're a big uh, transportation hub. So
Yep.
much passes through here. So I know it's been going on here for years, and it's really
Yeah.
hard to police that.
And then here's the other part about it. What people don't know is back then in the 1800s, when slavery did exist, it wasn't a huge percentage that was pro-slavery. It was a larger percentage of people that were quiet. It wasn't
Mm.
a whole lot. Then you had your abolitionists. I think it was 1% of the world that were abolitionists. But today, if you look at it, there's a small percent of people that's practicing racism and that actually hate other cultures. But then you do have a 1% of people that will speak up, and then you have the rest of the world that just quiet, like stuff is not happening. And the ones that's quiet, they think they're really doing something, but you really are guilty, because if you're quiet, then you're just as guilty as the problem. You know what I mean? So it's
Yeah.
it's it's so much comparison from back then to today, that people, if like 1,000 years from now, can look back at this and also look at the 1800s and say it was very synonymous. It's just
Right.
technology was involved.
Yeah, that's incredibly true. And if you aren't saying something and you're saying all that, then you're pretty much guilty of yourself of that too. It's just really crazy. So this whole play came to you in a dream about 7 years ago.
Yeah. I actually dream a lot of scenes. Not this play in particular, but I dream a lot. Like some of the scenes, not there right down. Oh man, it's,
Yeah.
like it's so visual. Like that's the way my brain works. It's so visual. Like I legit can, and it's not a weird thing, but I legit can see an entire scene right in front of me that no one else can see. I can see the colors. I can see the wind. I can see what cars drove past. Like
Amazing.
just yeah, it's just a different thing. And I just write them right away. I just write the concept. Like my phone is full of it. My computer is full of it. I hurry up and write the concept. Then I try to go back to sleep and see if I'm gonna get some more. Then I get up and start writing.
That's what true artists do, though. And I know a lot of musicians I've spoken with too. Yeah, it's it comes to them either in dreams, they're driving in the car. Oh, I gotta pull over, I gotta put this on my
Yeah,
iPhone.
it could be the weirdest thing that a trigger, like just a simple word, a simple word. Like
Wow.
I was in an acting class, and when I mentioned the why, and when I said why, and I looked at some of the students' faces, I got a whole movie off that. Like,
Amazing. Now you just got to make the screenplay. It's like now I got to do the real work here.
yeah, no, it's made. It's made. It's done. It's done. Once this take off, there's so many more to come after this.
So cool. So how did you get your cast together? Were these students that you knew, just actors in the community?
So the two guys that have the lead roles, they're identical twins. When I first had this vision and when I first started working on this series, I called them up and I told them, I said, "Hey, I have a a project for you guys where you're going to be the leads." And they were ecstatic about it, because one thing everyone in the city of Chicago know, that if I say I'm going to do something, if I give my word, it's going to happen.
Mm.
So they were ecstatic about that. So that's how I cast them. I did put up a casting call from my website, where there was a lot of different actors that I work with. Yeah, there's people that I know, but what I try not to do so much is promise people roles. Only if I know, like, these are the perfect two for, like, the twins. I could easily promise that, because you had the way I wrote it is, you had one that's a great 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 grandson from 2020, then the other one was the fourth generational grandfather in the 1800s, and they look identical. Like, he looks just like his ancestors. So that's how I was easily able to promise them too. But everyone else, I had them audition, although I knew that they could bring it. But I feel like when you have people come out and actually audition, for one, that shows a different level of work ethic. Some people feel like they don't have to audition because they know how good they are. And I'm not about ego, I'm about work ethic. So whether people are good enough to do the role or not, I just had people come out just so that comfort level is not there to where you think you can do what you want within this production, because I'm non-tolerant for that.
That's good. Yeah, it's really important to check the ego at the door. That's what Quincy
Exactly.
Jones always said. And it's really important. And it's important to just get people in a more organic state and really work with them instead of dealing with the personality. So Demoris Burrows is
Yep.
your star, and his brother Demetrius. Uh,
Demetrius. Yeah.
how did you get to know them?
So they took a few of my acting class, and they had so much potential, man, and they were so funny, so down to earth. Um, and they're much younger than me, so I just took them in my wings like little brothers, man, and
Yeah.
just helped them as much as I could. Like right now, what a lot of people don't know is that Demores is an actual writer himself. So he
Yeah.
has a lot of little short films, and his brother is an artist. He raps. He also try to help with the writing. So they're like a 1-2 hit. So I try to help on location as much as my experience as I can with helping them produce their short film, just kind of mentoring them and training them through this whole little process.
Seems to be a common thread. So he's done some work on Chicago PD, all those
Yeah.
Chicago shows. That's
Yes,
cool.
actually, a lot of the cast, some of the cast, like a lot of the cast has been landing, because it's here. It's here.
Yeah.
They're filming everything here at Center Space. So a lot of the actors, like Eric Epps, he's been on Chicago Med as well as Chicago Fire. Lynette Shakespeare, she plays the granny. Such a great talent and actress. She's
Uh,
probably one of my favorite female actresses from Chicago, as well as Eric Epps. These two are my favorite act, and I'm actually working with them. But Lynette, she's been on Chicago PD. The twins, they've been in all type of commercials, and I think it was Demores that was on Chicago PD as well. Then I have Montel Griffin, ex middle heavyweight champion of the world.
WBC light heavyweight
Like,
champion.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Montel Griffin. He gave Roy Jones his first loss, although it was controversial. He gave Roy Jones his first loss. He has a big
Wow.
name here in
Yeah. In
Chicago.
that world.
Yeah. The girl, Lissa, what is Lissa's last name? Is it Hurd? Lissa Hurd. She plays Miss Mabel. She's a comedian. She's very much on the rise for comedy, coming out of Chicago. So much to where even Lil Rel recognizes who she is, and like really rooting for her. Like she's so funny. So just such a it's a cast full of good talent that has some experience.
Yeah, you're blessed that way too. And just finding such great talent there in Chicago. It's
Oh yeah.
talk about comedy. I was there years and years ago. I've been there a few times, but Second City really just wowed me. I was like, these people are geniuses. Just seeing how they work things out on stage, and improv is just like, I think that's an amazing training ground.
Yeah, it is. Chicago is really, really, really good for that, man. So many creatives here. So many.
How many Chicago series are there? Are they all on NBC? There's Fire, there's Police, there's like a Med one.
Fire, you have Med, you have PD, you have the Power book now. The was it Power 50 Cents thing? They're filming here now.
Wow.
You have Shameless. You have the show 1440. I think that's what it is. 1400.
All purely in Chicago. Yeah, Shameless. I love. What a great series.
I was actually on Shameless.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow.
So true story about Shameless. I played the role of what was my name? Oh my gosh, I can't remember my name, but I had a nice role in Shameless on one of the episodes, on two of the episodes. So I did so well. Yeah, I did so well. This on the last season. I did so well. I
probably saw you.
Probably so, yeah.
Because I saw it towards the end.
Okay, and I was supposed to be on more episodes. So my agent got the call, I want to say in closer to the end of February. She got the call from them saying, hey, we decided to bring Richard character back, make it recurring. We're going to be flying them out to LA in March, and tell them prepare to be here for at least a month, a month and a half. I'm like, that is great news. And then guess what?
COVID, right?
Oh my God.
I know so many stories I hear about that now.
So disappointing. Even this show, 1800 versus 2020, was running. It was doing great. And we were going to have more runs. And I was going to run this thing until it was time for me to go to LA to film with Shameless, because they do have a set out there where they film some of the scenes. But this I had to shut this down. And lost money, I lost marketing money that I gained prior to. So I guess it really wasn't a loss, but
yeah. Oh, wow, that's awful. Shameless. I just love that cast too. Everybody seems very down to earth. It must be a really good crew.
It's so weird. I don't watch television. So the lead guy, is it Ethan? Ethan, his real name?
Yeah. Forgot his name.
Yeah, Ethan. So I didn't know who he was. I don't watch television.
Yeah.
He just came talking to me, and we legit talked the entire time I was filming. Then come to find out, when we go to one of the sets, there's hundreds of people waiting on him.
Wow.
Waiting, pictures, autographs. And I'm like, you did not, like, you the lead? Like,
keeps it real.
Yeah, he just down to earth. Like Ethan, he's just a great guy.
Yeah, you could kind of tell on those kind of productions. It's like, and that crew's been together so long, and they did tons of seasons, like what, 11 seasons or something like. That's a long time.
Yeah, 10 years.
Yeah, those people just like, and some people grew up on that show, so it's like
he's one. Yeah, he's been on that show since he was 10 years old. Since he was 11. He was 21 at the time when it stopped.
Yeah.
So.
Oh my gosh. So growing up in Chicago, you got into basketball,
Absolutely.
Yeah. You play in the
Yeah.
neighborhood and then just got into it through school.
Yeah. So, well, not even so. At first, I was boxing and playing football. I wasn't much of a basketball fan. My cousin was playing basketball. He actually went to the NBA. His name was Luther Head.
Hmm.
So just growing up, I wanted to go to college once I started to hear about different, like I didn't know college existed at first. And then I never heard of a boxing scholarship to get in college.
Yeah. Who would
So
have
I'm like,
known?
let me stop this and let me play basketball with my cousin since he's playing basketball, and I'll use this as a tool to get to college, because what I did not want to do is end up dead or gang banging, because of my environment and where I grew up at.
Sure. Sure.
So I made up my mind to play basketball, and I gave it a lot of focus, and I actually had a growth spurt. Like I grew from 5'10" to like 6'3" in a matter of a
Wow.
year.
Oh my gosh. Couldn't keep up with the wardrobe. I'm sure that had to be tough.
Not at all. Yeah, within a year, I stretched out at least 5 inches. And yeah, I ended up going to college, playing basketball, play NCAA Division One, traveled the rural.
Wow.
I loved the experience. But one thing I had in my mind is there's thousands of athletes trying to make it to the NBA. And although I knew I was good and I had a lot of heart, but I always had it in my mind that I would not let basketball use me, but I will use it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And what I meant by that, I've seen a lot of athletes that did not know how to give up basketball because they wanted to keep striving for a dream that they, one, became too old for, and two, that they just wasn't good enough for. So that wasn't going to be my story. So I'm like, hey, look, I got through college for free. I
Yeah.
don't owe anyone. I have an education. I experienced traveling the world. It was my first time ever flying out of Chicago when I started playing basketball. First time I left Chicago. So I felt like it helped me a whole lot and it grew me up. So it was time to just move on to something different.
That's great. So then you got into modeling and then finally acting after a while.
Yeah, yeah. The modeling thing, it was good, but it was just real weird to me. It's like, okay, so I have to walk and
Yeah, that's got to be after doing basketball.
yeah,
This is
yeah,
me.
yeah. It's like if people gonna cheer because I done hit a shot or made the slam dunk or something, like I just have
Yeah,
to walk and that's it and pose. Like, all right,
there's a real skill to that, right? So it's like everybody who models, it's like, yeah, you got to have a certain knowledge and a skill on how to strike that pose, I guess.
Yeah. I'm like, it's a little weird, you know. Then I guess it came even harder because as soon as I would come out to the runway, you would hear the ladies cheering and
That's got to
like,
be weird.
nah, that wasn't weird.
It's like ladies cheering for. No, you usually think of modeling, you think it's usually females are usually doing that so much, but guys have been doing it too all along, and
Yeah,
probably more so
yeah,
now.
yeah. But it was a good experience, and it later on transitioned me over to the acting world. And once I gave acting a shot, they say there's a bug that bites you with acting.
Oh yeah.
That bug bit the hell out of me, and I've been doing it ever since. I haven't stopped. It's been 11 years now.
Oh, that's great. So what actors have you followed along and you kind of not want to be exactly like, but it like have inspired you?
Oh, Denzel Washington for
Yeah.
sure. Brad Pitt, Leonardo DiCaprio, um, Forrest Whitaker, and what's this guy name?
Yeah. Forrest Whitaker is amazing. I love King of Scotland. Um, Denzel Washington. He was actually here in Atlanta doing Flight with Robert Zemeckis.
Oh
Just,
man, he's just that dude is
yeah.
amazing, man.
You put him in anything. It's just and he can go from light roles to something incredibly heavy. I think he's one of these actors who pretty much like to stay in character throughout the entire production, like
Yeah,
doesn't Like once the cameras aren't rolling, he's still in character. There's some people
Yeah,
like that.
yeah. He's actually on my wish list because I wrote 1800s verse 2020. I wrote it into a movie, and the role that I'm playing for the stage right as of right now, I have Denzel in mind to play my role when I do the movie.
There's the role of Congo,
Um,
65-year-old you're playing.
yeah, yeah.
Nice. Yeah, he'd be great. That
It
would be really
man,
great. Yeah.
he would destroy this role. He
Yeah.
would destroy it.
Hopefully you can get that on his radar. That'd be awesome.
I'm a big believer in speaking things into existence. And not to make it a religious thing, but I'm heavy on the Bible, and that's
Hmm.
one thing it talks about, speaking things into existence. And if you look at God, everything he made was through words. He never made anything from his mouth. I mean, from his hands, everything from his mouth. So if we were born in his likeness and image, we have that same power and authority. So I believe if you speak those things not as if they were and have the faith that it's going to happen, it will happen.
Yeah. Yeah,
So
that's good. It kind of keeps you anchored, having that inspiration, and however you do it, and if it's through religion, the Bible, that's an inspiration, and it
absolutely,
enriches you.
absolutely,
Yeah.
yeah.
So you met
I
John Ruffin. How did meeting John Ruffin and moving on from that and getting into being a playwright? How did that all evolve?
So this was after I was finished with the tour with modeling with Ebony and Jet, and I did a stage play, and I still felt like it was a lot of missing pieces. Like I felt like the story. I mean, the story was good, but I felt like it could have been stronger. I felt like my acting could have been much, much, much better. And I started hearing about this guy John Ruffin, the theater. So now here it is. I'm drawn to this theater world. I want to know who's doing the best productions. I want to work with the best. And John Ruffin was one of the best at the time. And when my manager reached out to him, he said, "Okay, I can come and host the show." So I came to host, and got a chance to sit and watch the production, and I was amazed by the production value, just the quality of everything. The writing, the directing was great, the acting was amazing. So I'm like, that's who I need to work with. And I reached out and I told him, hey, I want to work. It's not about the money. You don't even have to pay me. I just want to sit, learn, and I want to be able to get on the stage and just be the best at my talent, because I'm not driven by money. It's all about my
Hmm.
passion for me. And I started working with him, and that was it from there. I learned all I needed to learn and started my own production company. And I've
Yeah.
always been a writer. I've always been a visionary. So that part wasn't as hard.
And all that's out there. You got your own website. To tell everybody, it's just your full name, richardgallion.com. It's a really
Yep.
nice site.
Thank you.
RGE, that's the Rich Gallion Entertainment. So
Yes, sir.
that really impressed with that. Beautiful artwork you have for the play 1800s versus 2020.
Thank you.
Uh, so yeah, who was behind doing the artwork for that?
The original flyer when I did it back in 2020, this guy named Jason Long, he was my graphic designer. But it just didn't work out. I'm the type when I want something done,
Yeah.
I don't want to have to chase you to get it done, especially
Uh,
when I'm paying, your asking price. So I ended up finding another graphic designer who put that one together. Her name is Ashley Bell. She's actually out there in Atlanta.
yeah, yeah.
Her name
Graphics is funny that way because it's just you're so artistic because I dabble in that too a little bit. And yeah, it's artists are a funny bunch to try to go
Yeah,
after.
yeah. It's like, hey, trying to get something done. Come on, what are we doing? Can we work? Man,
That's always the challenge as a producer, director, writer, all that stuff. It's just it really can be pretty
yeah.
challenging.
But I've
Um,
been working with Ashley Bell now. She's out there in
oh,
Atlanta.
good.
She's originally from Chicago, and one thing I do like her, she's not as fast as Jason was when he would get to it, but she do tell you, you know, everything you need to know. Like, it's going to take me at least 3 days, you know, and I could appreciate that, you know,
Yeah.
some expect the end as opposed to just not knowing.
Yeah. It's very nerve-wracking too, because you don't know what's going on and they're not communicating with you. And you're like, hey, where's my
Yeah.
product here?
Yeah, I'm huge on communication, man. The way to shut me down and, you know, turn me away is not communicate.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's only fair. It's only fair because time's money too. And you got deadlines.
Yeah, and this is my investment. Like, to put up these production, it costs a nice penny. It's not cheap. And I'm the type, when I put my all into something, I legit put my all into it, my money, my time, my efforts, everything. And then when you feel like it's not received the same on the other end of, you know, what you paid for, that becomes a problem with me.
So you're staging this play at the APC Theater.
Yep, APC Theater.
Where is that in Chicago?
It's on the south side. It's in the Morgan Park area, 114th and Vincennes. Really good area. Really good real estate over there. There's a lot of homeowners. It's right next to Beverly. Beverly is a great place where you have a lot of wealthy people that live there. It's not shootings over there, no carjackings. Just a beautiful theater, a nice area, a lot of free parking. We have parking lots. It's one of them hidden gems on the south side of Chicago. So a lot of my audience is very comfortable with coming there because they know that they don't have anything to worry about. Living in Chicago and going to a Chicago event. There's nothing to worry about.
Yeah, we have a lot of those issues in Atlanta in its own way too, but I know Chicago's gotten a really rough rap in the last number of years. It's like,
Oh yeah,
always been held up as this example of see what happens when you got so and so running this place. It's like,
yeah,
come on.
yeah.
It's happening everywhere. It really is. It's just we have a lot of challenges. Seems like almost every other day you got something going on here in Atlanta.
Yeah.
So earlier plays that you've worked on, one called No More Sheets. What was that one all about?
That was John Ruffin's production. Well, that's the one that I hosted. That's the show that I
You
saw,
hosted it.
called No More Sheets. Yeah. The first show that I've done with him was All for Love. Yeah, but No More Sheets, it was a good show, just about how people that's in these different institutions, whether it's business, religions, whatever, these institutions, to where when you take the cover off, the things that they were, doing behind closed door, there's a big shock that happens, but it's no more sheets. You can't cover it up anymore.
Oh, sounds good. What's the role of host as they stage that?
So just your host, introducing the audience to the production, and that was pretty much it.
Kind of like the MC, but just for a play.
Yeah.
Nice. Well, and All for Love sounds like a really good story too.
Oh yeah. It was really good. The main storyline I remember about that was about it was a few guys that were in prison, and you had 3 of them there that were innocent, and one, that was there that he admitted to his wrong of what he did, but he felt like he did it all for love. But at the same time, there's consequences, whether you do it for love, hate, whatever reason. There's a consequence to everything.
Oh, yeah, boy, that's true. Sometimes people are just like so misguided from being attracted to something like, yeah, I just did it all for love. I just want to basically just get out there and just do it. So, what were your other credits here? I said that you were in Transformers 4. That was all done in Chicago as well?
Yes. No. So with Transformers, the very first one, so I shot 2 scenes. I shot one scene in Chicago. Then I shot one scene in Detroit.
Okay.
But they end up only using one scene. Like Michael Bay, he filmed a lot. Like he get a lot of footage. So his whole thing is he'd rather have more than enough than not have enough, because it's hard to kind of redo that scene
Go
and go
back and have
back.
to shoot more. Yeah.
Yeah. So he just get a whole bunch of footage and they just pick and choose in a cutting room. Like they just pick and choose what they're going to use to help with the story and what's going to move the story. So that's why, the Transformers be so long, because he gets a lot of footage.
Yeah, he does, doesn't he? And I've known some of his features. Yeah, they tend to be longer anyway.
Oh yeah.
I was an extra in Anchorman 2, and I did a couple of scenes there, and I could tell Adam McKay was like really shooting a lot. It's like I
Yeah.
bet he had hundreds of hours of stuff.
Yeah, it is, man. But what I love was the experience, because I had an actual role, and to this day I still get residuals from it.
Wow.
Yeah, it was
Oh,
just a great experience. Like you had the car service to come pick you up in the morning with your name on it, and get to the airport, and when you get off, you have a driver there with your name and waiting to take you to your areas, and like, it was just so dope. Like I really
nice.
enjoyed it. Yeah.
Oh, that had to be really great having your name on the car. It's like, wow.
Yeah, it was like, okay, I can get used to this. I like it.
This is a great life. Black Butterfly. Who's in that movie?
So that's from a filmmaker here named Mark Harris. Mark was the very first movie I've ever done, was with Mark. And the funny thing, when I went to the audition, he told me verbatim the character Daniel that I played. He wrote the movie 10 years before he actually started filming.
Yeah.
He said when he was writing that movie 10 years ago, when he imagined Daniel, it was legit my face, my height, my body structure. So when I walked in the room, it kind of freaked him out, because I was what he saw for the Daniel character.
Hmm.
And that was my first time acting, but it came off pretty good. Like it's actually one of my favorite movies that I've done.
I'll have to check that out. I never heard of that one.
Oh yeah, like it's a really, really, really good storyline.
And you're also
Quality,
yeah, that sounds really cool.
yeah.
Yeah, sounds like a great movie. I have to seek that out somewhere. I'll look it up on IMDb and see where we can see that.
Okay.
Yeah. And you co-wrote Hard Knock Life.
Mhm.
Doing that film, what was the inspiration to be a co-writer and being in that role?
So originally, I was my manager was called for me to just come on as a producer and just attach my name. There was right after the tour with Ebony and Jet, like my name was buzzing a whole lot in Chicago. So the lady Cassandra, she reached out. The story was already written. She reached out, and this was after I got the experience with John, and I kind of had a feel of how production's supposed to go. And it was a stage play. Um, she originally wanted me to come on and produce it. I told her, send me the script. I'll take a look at the story. If I like it, I'll agree to do it. Because I knew she didn't have much of a budget. But when she sent the story, I liked the storyline, but I hated the writing. The dialogue it wasn't good. It didn't have enough meat. It didn't have a turning point. It didn't have defined characters, like it was confused. So I just sent them my honest, and that's the thing, I'm extremely honest with people. So
Yeah,
I sent
yeah.
my honest feedback, and she was like, "Well, hey," but not only did I give her feedback, but I also gave her the ideas that I got from it. I
Yeah.
wrote it down, and I had like at least 4 pages of notes. And she like, "Well, hey, since what she appreciated is that I didn't just tear her script down like others did, but I also gave a conclusion and expected in on how it can look if she were to change the dynamics of things." Because she was like, "Well, if you write it, I'll give you the credit for it, and I'll still love to do it." So I wrote it, sent it back to her. She loved it, and from there, what I was supposed to just be the producer, I ended up being the writer, producer, director. as well as the lead actor in it. Because all these other guys, I don't know. This guy, I don't know. It's a certain work ethic that you just have to have, and there's an expectation that I have, especially if I'm producing something, like it has to be great. My name is on it, and you know, people just used to doing what they want, and that just wasn't
Yeah.
happening. So
That's so cool though, to wear several different hats. And I like to do that too. I don't want to just be this one trick pony. It's and what's great is you learn all the different facets of the process to
yeah,
take on all these different roles, not just acting, not just directing. So I think that makes you more rich that way.
absolutely, absolutely. Yeah, you don't get stuck to just one title.
Yeah.
You want to do everything.
Yeah. And some other plays that you've been working with. Desperate. When did that one come out?
Yeah, so I did that. That's actually on YouTube right now, the entire
Hmm.
play. People can go check out that play. Just go to Richard Gallion Entertainment. Richard Gallion, type in Desperate, and that stage play will come up. I uploaded the entire play. Right now, I got like 10,000 views, but I did that years ago, at
Yeah.
least 7, 8 years ago. And I wrote that to a TV series as well, which the first episode is currently on Amazon Prime.
Nice.
That's Yeah, that was one of my favorite stories. I mean, that was a really good story. I liked. A lot of people was able to relate to it, because it talked about real life, and it shows that people from every walk of life, whether you're a politician in jail, living in a impoverished community, whether you're wealthy, everyone can experience some form of desperation. It
Mm.
just looks different on them. The way
Oh,
desperation looks on you is different from how it looks on me.
yeah.
But the common denominator is everyone is desperate to a certain sense.
So when you're writing a play, and you're crafting the dialogue, and like you were saying earlier with the this other play, like, is it a gut feeling like, oh, this dialogue is just not 3D, it's not really authentic? Is it a gut feeling, or does it come naturally to you that way?
It does. Not only do I have to be authentic, but there also has to be quotes in there that's going to be memorable. There has to be something that grabs people attention.
Yeah.
It's like when you talk, you don't want to be a boring speaker. You want to be
Right.
saying something that's meaty, that's going to be able to, pull people in. Like, for instance, the dialogue, I have some dialogue in 1800 verse 2020 that I think I'm just going to put these quotes on t-shirts, because I had,
Oh,
like, there's one where I say the day you born, you look like your parents, but the day you die, you look like your decisions. And that's a real thing. Um, and a lot of people really took heed of that quote, like,
oh yeah.
and it's a memorable thing. But to get to that, there has to be organic dialogue that makes sense, that people can make personal, that they can grab. And if the dialogue don't do that, then we just need to revisit it.
Yeah. Hey, good marketing strategy. Put all that on shirts, all the quotes. um,
Yeah, yeah.
get people out to this play, 1880s versus 20. So this is playing now. What are the dates? It's playing at the APC Theater in Chicago, happening this month as we speak.
Yep, it opens up February 12th, and it's playing every weekend until the end of the month. So we're going 3 weeks strong. We have February 12th and 13th, which is Saturday and Sunday. Then the following week, Saturday and Sunday. And, of course, we're doing it every weekend. And this Saturday, we have two showings, 2 p.m. and 7 p.m. Had to have a matinee show because I have an audience of people that's, kind of elderly, and they do not like coming out at night. They're like, we need matinee shows. So I gave some matinee shows this time.
Yeah, it's important to get a wide variety of audience members, and yeah, who knows
Oh, yeah,
who likes to go out at night.
absolutely.
Awesome. Well, I really appreciate your time here. This is fantastic. And go out to see this new play. This is really great. Everybody in Chicago, if you happen to be in Chicago, travel to see a great production like this.
Oh, yeah. And you can get tickets at www.richardgallion.com. Gallion is spelled Gallion, or you can call 310-461-8973. Again, that number is 310-461-8973.
Awesome. Thank you for your time.
All right,
And
thank
best
you. I
wishes.
appreciate you.
Take care. Have a good one.
All right, you too.
Bye.